On the tragic day of December 7, 1941. On that peaceful Sunday morning, the Hawaiian island of Oahu looked incredibly serene. The United States Pacific Fleet had recently arrived at Pearl Harbor from San Diego, adding to the island's sense of tranquility. The fleet was proudly displayed with 7 of the country's most powerful battleships lined up at Battleship Row on Ford Island. However, as the sun arose, it illuminated a fleet of aircraft that would soon make history with the attack on Pearl Harbor. At 8 a.m., a 16-inch Navy shell reconfigured bomb shattered the deck, setting off an explosion in the front magazine of the ship, detonated hundreds of thousands of pounds of ammo. Within a blink of an eye, 85% of crew were annihilated. The explosion caused a 10-foot tidal wave to slam into Ford Island. The punch from that blast blew the Arizona 30 feet in the air, causing it to sink within 8 minutes, as one of the 19-ton anchor displayed behind the info desk here at this park was found 200 feet away from the Arizona. The rest of the survivors were towards the back of the ship, where you will see the remains of the ship today, reaching the same temperature as the surface of the sun, 8,000 degrees, give or take, as the Arizona burns out of control for 2 days. One of the survivors, Seaman First Class Donald G. Stratton of the USS Arizona said, and I quote, "We were just burning alive." The president's speech on December 7, 1941 was a turning point in history that echoed through the generations of people, even right now as I speak. This is a day of infamy. This stark image can show how the sensitive brush of empathy can sober us to the narrow divide between life or death. The moment we ignore our past and those around us, we'll lose the chance to make a positive impact for inspiration, as our actions speak louder than words. Time heals all, and now we see clear, calm blue waters that take time to reflect. Guiding through the unknown is our moral compass. Through past experiences, lessons learned, to be able to make a more positive decision as we confront our fears, the challenges of today and tomorrow. By studying history and learning from our heroes, we have the ability to stand on the shoulders of giants, once quoted by Isaac Newton. In other words, discovering truth by studying history, then building on it. As oil still seeps out the Arizona from a hatchet about 10 feet away from both open vents that's facing a rusty huge gun turret, the wrecked parts from the ship covered in aquatic growth jolts from the water where you'll visit after 83 years, seeping out oil at a rate of 10 quarts of oil a day from the 500,000 gallons of oil still trapped on the bottom of the Arizona towards the back of the ship. And I share this in hopes that you're more mindful of the decisions you make in life. And I also share this in hopes that you recognize something historic and immortal. This is a gravesite and a memorial designed by Alfred Price and dedicated by President John F. Kennedy on Memorial Day of 1962, who served in World War II and he was wounded as well. With that being said, this isn't a tourist attraction. Well, at the memorial, we ask that you please visit with the same respect you would at a national cemetery, with quiet voices and silent phones. We're not only paying our respects to the fallen service members, but to those who are with you today as well. We don't know who's in this group or what our neighbor might be feeling as they connect with the site. And we don't know what kind of connections they may have with the hundreds of names in the shrine wall, to the millions of individuals who lived and witnessed the horrors of that day and the connecting days that was the reality of World War II. Nevertheless, this isn't a sentiment for revenge, instead recreational therapy. We'll remember and honor the sacrifices of these men and the many that will follow in the years to come. Regardless of nationality or origin, this is a place where we come to pay our respect, exercise quiet contemplation, and hopes for peace and reconsideration.